The 1920s were a great time for the town of Brookhaven, where lots of new businesses came into town, and the citizens were all very rich, such as Marilyn Matthews, who got her first car on July 5th, 1925. She immediately wanted to show her friends who were reading newspapers at the beach her new car, so she started driving there instantly. She decided to drive down Cherry Road, a road that no car has ever driven on. Little did Marilyn know that her car actually had a loose wheel, and when she drove over a bump, the wheel fell off. Marilyn was shocked and tried to save the car from crashing, but she could not save it and she crashed into a tree. Unfortunately, due to very few safety features back then, Marilyn did not survive the crash. On a rainy October day in 1964, Biff McConnell was going to his mailbox. When Biff checked his mailbox, he saw something that surprised him very much. What he saw was a bonus of $3,000 from his boss for being such a great worker the past month. Biff had been storing his spare money that he had left over after buying groceries and paying bills for months, and Biff knew exactly what he wanted to buy. In the junkyard, there was a car that was involved in a crash a few months prior, yet was still in a pretty good condition. And Biff really wanted to buy it as a weekend car, so he paid the owner of the junkyard his extra money to buy the car, and he said that he would pick it up the next day, a day that was coincidentally a Saturday. At 8 a.m. on October 3rd, 1964, Biff came back and took the car. Biff then immediately came back home, and he took off the broken parts to make it look like a hot rod, especially since hot rods were very trendy back then. After about 30 minutes, Biff was very happy with the job he had done, and he immediately went back into the driver's seat and chose to give it a test drive. Little did he know that yesterday, once the rain ended, it was below freezing point, and the frost caused the puddles from the rain to freeze. And a lot of these puddles were on Cherry Road, and when Biff drove over one, he was surprised. He quickly spun out. He hit multiple trees, and his front suspension was destroyed, and the engine caught fire. The car might have survived one crash, but it didn't survive this one. Unfortunately, neither did Biff. There was so much smoke from the fire that it could be seen from within town. In the 70s in Brookhaven, being a lumberjack was a very big trend, especially on Cherry Road, with its at the time dense forests that had great wood to sell for lumber. On a late May night, Jack Marquette, a truck driver, was ready to bring some of the logs that were just cut down into town. Little did Jack know, he accidentally cut off a woman named Karen, who was very bitter and very impatient. While driving down Cherry Road, Karen pulled up next to Jack and tried to pass him. When Karen pulled in front of Jack, she was not clear, and she crashed them both into the woods. Jack's truck was dented and on fire, and the trailer disconnected. Karen's truck was surprisingly still intact. Karen and Jack both survived the crash. A few weeks later, Jack sued Karen not just for crashing his truck and breaking his arm, but also for hurting the Brookhaven lumber industry. Judge Jill then ruled Karen guilty. She had to pay both the Brookhaven Lumber Company and Jack $10,000 each. And this was also the only car crash on Cherry Road with no fatalities. In 2021, Robloxian and Rallycross announced that for the first time ever, they were going to bring their Rallycross to Brookhaven in June of 2021. And young driver Zach Quincy was the first to get to try the Brookhaven rally course, and he was having a great lap. However, as Zach neared Cherry Road, his throttle got stuck. He hit two fans, but his car kept going, and he drove off the ledge of a hill. Luckily, Zach survived the horrific crash, but he had to sit down and catch his breath and think about what had just happened. Unfortunately, the two fans were not quite as lucky as Zach, and they both unfortunately did not survive the impact. Cherry Road is a road right on the outskirts of the town of Brookhaven. It has had some very terrifying crashes over the years and has even been rumored to be cursed. Sometimes, if you go on a walk past this road on a cold night, you might be able to hear tires screeching and possibly even see the ghosts of those that have been lost on this road over the past 100+ years.